We just got another episode of SmackDown. Definitely a weaker episode considering how great Raw was, but we still got plenty of highlights. I like the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes fight, one of the most hilarious segments of the year. What is it so funny about Michael Cole getting bullied? I love Michael Cole, we all do, but the dude getting bullied just brings us joy. Does it make me a bad human being? Probably. But still. And people, I called it. Not only did we get new WWE Tag Team champions, Johnny Gargano finally turned heel. I think for the first time in his WWE career. This is something I talked about for weeks. I knew they're not gonna break up. They're just gonna turn heel. I shouldn't be proud, really, right? Like, that was pretty obvious. That was so obvious. But you know, I'm just happy I'm getting back on track because the Great One made so many bad predictions lately, man. I sucked at predicting WWE. For a guy with such a large forehead, you'd think I'm years ahead, but, you know, that's not necessarily the case. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say this was a bad episode of SmackDown, but it just felt like we're in this transition stage. And that is kind of the case. I mean, WWE basically talked about the draft on this episode, so can't wait for that. I'll probably make a video talking about all the draft picks I would love to see. So, you know, during the show we got guys like Gunther, Chad Gable, which is nice, but at the end of the day, since they're not part of the roster, a lot of it felt like filler, unimportant, and something we're not even gonna get a follow-up on. Man, I just hope SmackDown is not gonna get ruined by WWE Raw being on Netflix. So let's talk about SmackDown. But I want to start by talking about the sponsor of today's video, Wrestling GM, the best wrestling simulation game out there, where you can fantasy book any real-life situation or match within the game. For example, we all love Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, so in Wrestling GM, you can actually recreate that. Or you can pick a star and make sure he becomes the next Stone Cold Steve Austin of your universe. You see, in Wrestling GM, you can create your own universe. You can create your own company, wrestlers, championships, and even in-depth characters like managers and commentators. One of the best things about Wrestling GM is that you can upload custom photos and avatars to recreate real-life superstars. And you can even give them custom backstories. So pretty much, you can have real wrestlers in Wrestling GM. And as you guys know, being a GM is all about competition. So in Wrestling GM, you compete against AI companies in a viewership war to see who puts on the best show for the fans. Wrestling GM is available on the App Store and the Google Play Store, so make sure to download the game right now by using the link in the description below. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. So the show kicks off with the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. He was here to talk about Kevin Owens, but gets quickly interrupted by American Made. So Chad Gable basically talked about how the draft is coming and he's here to talk to Nick Aldis. Possibly he's going to go to SmackDown. He also talked about how Kevin Owens is right and Cody is not a loyal friend. You're just like Otis, and you're the definition of superficial. Cody laughs and says, we have a lot of similarities, Shorty G. You're looking at Stardust. Yeah, that was a thing, right? Shorty G. Oh my god. So we got some back and forth and Gable says, if I were not wearing a suit, I would beat your ass right now. Cody tells him, since you're going to talk to Nick Aldis, why don't you ask him for a one-on-one match? So we're getting Cody versus Chad Gable, which in theory is pretty exciting, you know, but again, doesn't mean anything at all. It did set up Kevin Owens' return, well, not much of a return, but, you know, him getting into the arena, into the ring, which I think is not allowed for Kevin Owens, so, you know, at least we got that. Bianca accused Chelsea and Piper of attacking Jade, but they obviously denied. I still think it was Bianca, man. You know, she's been sus ever since. And Bianca got attacked. US title tournament match. Elektra Lopez, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton. Pretty exciting. This is the final first round match. Pretty unpredictable, I would say, because my money would be on Tiffany Stratton, which is already Miss Money in the Bank. So I was so sure that Naomi is going to win because in my mind, she could be the first ever United States champion, but that was not necessarily the case. Tiffany Stratton actually won the match. I was honestly kind of surprised by that because she's already, you know, a Money in the Bank holder, and I was like, Naomi is definitely going to be in the finals. That really surprised me. But let's look at the tournament right now. We have Bayley, Michin, Chelsea, and Tiffany. Kind of like that. Bayley is the veteran. Chelsea is the one a lot of people want to win. Tiffany Stratton is a bit of a wild card. She's a Money in the Bank holder. We have a Michin who could basically kinda kick off her career in the WWE because she's still kinda there. Pretty exciting. Let's make a prediction, people. Fuck it, Chelsea. The Street Profits got attacked, so we don't have tag team championship contenders. Johnny comes up and says we can fix this. Not to be insensitive, but I mean, we can step up. Oh, that slimy ass son of a bitch. He already knew what he was doing. He did a fakey dakey right here. they were the ones who attacked them, and he was pretending to be a nice Johnny, you know. Ah, fuck you. So Piper Niven versus Bianca Belair. Pretty decent match. I think Piper Niven is pretty underrated, just my honest opinion. How do I not make it sound wrong? But she's like the good version of Nia Jax. Wild ass finish, and Bianca wins the match, as expected. Your new United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura is looking good, man. That entrance, that theme song, like a samurai ninja. Everything about this is perfect right now. I'm not even mad he won the WWE United States Championship. What this means for LA Knight, I'm not sure. I hope good things. He's gonna chase that championship. And a lot of times, babyface chasing these championships is actually even better. So hopefully, am I the only one who's kinda getting nervous that people are gonna turn on LA Knight? Not necessarily turn on him, but just kinda lose interest. You know, the pops eventually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't know, hopefully that's not the case. Well, LA Knight interrupts him right away and says, this championship is coming back where it belongs. He wants a rematch and he wants it now. We see Andrade, who also wants a championship title match, and they all got attacked by the Bloodline. Well, all of them except Shinsuke Nakamura. He has black goo in his mouth, and that is a big no-no, people. If you see a man with black goo, you know, I wouldn't attack him. I would run. And the Bloodline sent a message. They're still the real Bloodline. He is still the tribal chief. He's still the head of the table. He still has the Ulafala. Everybody will acknowledge him. This is... Forget Damage Control, the faction. This is Damage Control right here. You know, they lost the match and now they're gonna beat the shit out of everybody. This is WWE doing Damage Control. Why am I acting like I'm about to say, I love you, Solo? Anyway, the show actually kicked off with a very hilarious moment of them just randomly attacking Apollo Crews. Oh, why Apollo? What did Apollo do? We'll see what happens for the Bloodline, you know. I mean, that was kind of the right call. Roman needed that W. But why is he still wearing that Ulafala? Give it back to Roman, he won the match. So we got the WWE Tag Team Championship match, and DIY did a fakey-dakey. Johnny and Tommaso acted like there was a lot of miscommunication, and Johnny was about to finish this match alone. But then Tommaso comes back, distracts the referee, low blow, and DIY won the WWE Tag Team titles. It was a plan all along, and I love how much facial expressions can tell. Like, if you ever looked at Johnny Gargano, you can't imagine this guy is a heel. You know, you just can't imagine him, especially if you... I saw him first in NXT, right? I couldn't see this guy as a bad guy. Maybe he was, I don't know, but I was not watching at that time. He has such a nice guy face. But man, facial expressions can tell such a story. I wonder for how many weeks he's been a dick. Was his mind changed or was this a plan all along? But this was definitely a plan for tonight, you know? So, new tag team champions. I don't mind. Something new, and again, what I like about the SmackDown's tag team division, forget about the tag teams, the amount of good tag teams we have, doesn't matter. If we don't have a story, it's just a bunch of random ass matches. On SmackDown, we do have that story, and I appreciate that. So Michael Cole finally got to interview Kevin Owens. Kevin told him to get into the car. They talked about it, and you know, he accuses Michael Cole of being the biggest Cody supporter, so this is not gonna be fair. And Kevin Owens basically repeated himself, you know, Roman Reigns, he helped Roman tried to end my career, you don't understand, you know what, get out of my car! Michael, you're gonna apologize? He closed the goddamn window! Oh, this was so hilarious. Like, this is a serious Kevin Owens, this is a different heel Kevin Owens, but at the same time, he still has that humor, you know? He's still very funny. Someone let me know in the comments below if you agree. This might be a hot take. To me, the funniest wrestlers in the WWE... Okay, R-Truth is funny and his gimmick is being funny. I get that. But it's a big exception. For me, the funniest wrestlers are these kind of... How do I put this? Sami Zayn with the conspiracy shit, the bloodline shit, right? Kevin Owens. That's the comedy I love in professional wrestling, where it's kinda serious, but not necessarily. It's still funny. Kevin Owens always had this sense of he's watching the product with us. You know, he's breaking the fourth wall almost every single week. So we got the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable. Obviously a good match, you know. enjoyed it. Doesn't mean much, pretty much a house show match, but still really, really enjoyable. Now, Chad Gable targeted Cody's leg, so it pretty much got, well, I wouldn't say injured, but you know what I mean. But Cody still won the match with a great sell. Now, after the match, we see Kevin Owens, he targeted Cody's injured leg. We got a big fight, Cody fighting back, and the show basically ends in chaos. Executive producers Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. And that was your SmackDown, people. So, you know, they're building Saturday night's main event, which is gonna happen like in a week, I believe. Pretty exciting. Sometimes we get spoiled, man. That episode of Raw was so good. So fucking good. So this was just kind of there, you know, typical SmackDown. It's a hit or miss show. And now, I just feel like Roman Reigns is not gonna show up for the rest of the month. So basically, the main storyline, the most interesting part of SmackDown, which was the OG Bloodline, ain't gonna be there. So, you know, I don't expect much from the WWE right now, since it's December, but Rust still seems to be promising, and maybe WWE are doing that intentionally to kind of build these stories, because eventually, I mean, on January, we're going to get Raw on Netflix, so they need something. SmackDown, well, SmackDown can just stay SmackDown. Still not a bad show, you know, we did get some highlights. So thank you so much for watching this video, appreciate your time, and as always, great one, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.